Welcome, friends of Milwaukee Art Museum and fans of Art in Bloom. I'm Emily Neubauer, the owner of Belle Fiori Flower Shop. I'm joining you today, unfortunately, over the internet because we were unable to have this year's Art in Bloom. But I wanted to create a lovely arrangement for you to enjoy, just a little taste of something maybe we would have seen this year at the museum. Mark your calendars, you're going to see that new date for 2021. We're already planning to bring you beautiful flowers next year. Don't worry, Art in Bloom will be back. So we're going to start today with something very colorful, a fun arrangement just to celebrate what's happening outside. It's May, the spring colors are starting, so let's make a pretty arrangement together. We're going to begin with what florists consider greening in. It's our mechanics. It's how we make arrangements. It's the foundation. It's what holds everything together. Gives us a little strength and structure underneath the flowers. Today I'm using just a beautiful vase arrangement. This is a pretty crackle glass vase in a nice pink color. We're filling it with salal, which is called lemon leaf casually. Botanically it's known as salal. It's just a nice, strong, neutral foliage. Right now that's about enough. I know I'm going to have a few tall flowers, so I also want to include a little bit of tall foliage. This is myrtle. Myrtle is a lovely shrub. It has a strong woody stem on it. We're going to be able to use this to create some line and give some definition or direction to our arrangement. What I'm doing right there is removing the bottom leaves. We don't want to give bacteria in the water anything to grow off of. So any organic matter that would be below this water line is where you begin to have problems with the water getting murky or dirty. So if we take away that organic material, any leaves or dirt that might get in there, we'll have less opportunity for that to be a problem. Remember, always start with a clean base, clear, fresh water, and use a floral preservative. Not any of those wives' tales. We don't need to be giving any soda, any aspirin. There's no pennies in this vase. Just use what the botanists have created for us. Ask at a flower shop when you buy those flowers, and they will definitely give you a package of flower food. That's kind of our casual term for that. It's going to feed the flowers, it's going to be antibacterial for that water, and just give it all the best chance of longevity in your home. Now this is enough foliage for this arrangement. I want to do something a little asymmetrical. We're going to go tall on one side, have it all around so there's beautiful things to enjoy. We're going to begin with a little bit of willow branch. This is going to give us lots of interest. Curly willow or corkscrew willow is something that does grow here in Wisconsin. You may even have received an arrangement that has some with a little bit of foliage growing on the top. That's always a pretty element or accent when that happens. This is a tree, so it's going to be a little tough to cut through. If you're doing things at home, use your garden shears. Use a knife if you're comfortable using a knife the way a professional florist would. That's going to give us the cleanest cut. If not, don't use your scissors. Don't use any form of cutter that's not intended for foliage, floral material, or gardening. Kitchen shears can be okay. Make sure they're nice and clean, and when you're done with them with the flowers, clean them again before you use them in your kitchen. All right, for balance, I've included both the willow on the right and the left. Brought this little piece back in on itself here, so there's a nice loop. I hope you can see that. Just extra interest, something unique going on there. Now, one of the first things that I was taught as a florist was to include your container color in your arrangement. That's going to use the design principle of unity. So we're now creating a color palette that includes our container and our floral. This item is called Baronia. It is a beautiful blooming flower and has an amazing fragrance. I wish you all could smell it. It is just gorgeous. Very short-lived. The season is just a few weeks from April through hopefully Mother's Day. We always wish that it'll make it to Mother's Day. And it's one of the favorites here at the flower shop when it comes back in season, we all can smell it and almost cheer when it walks in the door. So these beautiful hot pink bells are going to be a very pretty accent throughout the entire arrangement. Again, I'm removing all of the leaves that will be underneath the water level. I am taking this big stalk, which was way too large for our vase, and cutting it into 2 pieces. Now it's useful, and we can remove that little bit of foliage that was down there. We're going to give it some strength here on our tall side, which is near to our willow branches, and then little dainty accents on the short side. I really did want this to kind of cascade over the side of the vase and continue the line created by that loop of willow. All right, just this last little bit, we can't let that go to waste. That needs to be included in here also. Now we've got a nice structure started. We can start to see the line we're creating. We like this tall side, so let's continue with that. We're going to have a nice rich color here with this yellow snapdragon. Isn't that amazing and large? This beautiful flower was actually grown in Canada. Luckily, they are still able to bring us things here in the United States. We are being challenged by COVID, but we are not being overcome. We will definitely let the flowers keep coming in and enjoy all the beauty that is available to us. So there's that nice strong snapdragon. So I think that's going to give us our asymmetrical shape. That means that it is taller on one side than the other. In comparison, we are going to have something tall and something as a focal point. So this beautiful Asiatic lily, some people may call them a tiger lily, this is technically an Asiatic lily, is going to be our other large yellow element. And because we have yellow up high, now we want yellow down low. So we're going to put this at the lip of the vase. Asiatic lilies are nice in that they don't have the fragrance that is a little overwhelming to some people. Very commonly a florist will hear, please don't include lilies, those are just too fragrant for someone, or they may have allergies and they're overwhelming. Always give us that information about your friend or family member, whomever we're sending the flowers to. We want to personalize it. We want to make that arrangement perfect for you. So we will be happy to accommodate any of those special requests. Just ask. That's what we're here for. All right, there is a lovely yellow collection, both front and back. Remember, we said we were going to do this in an all-around style. That means pretty on all sides. Another element we're going to use is going to give us some depth. This alstroemeria has almost little black speckles and stripes included on it. Mother Nature brings us all sorts of beautiful little treasures. So to be the deeper tone in our red family, we're going to use this alstroemeria. It's almost like a lipstick color, just very rich. And for balance, I'm going to put it on both the front and the back, just like we did with that lily. Got a little reach here, but we'll get it on your side so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And see how that's so much deeper than those pink little bells of the Baronia heather. Very pretty. We've still got our asymmetrical shape, and we still have some beautiful balance happening there. Now for some elegance. Who doesn't love roses? We always love to include those classic, timeless flowers. We've got a beautiful white variety here. This is a particular variety that has a vase life of 7 to 14 days. They open up huge and beautiful. Once this arrangement is in your home, you would want to remember to keep up on the water, for sure full. We want the vase full of water, so that everyone's cut stems down here are within water. Then our other thing to think of is clean and healthy water. So if you still have some of that flower food, include that as you top off the vase every time. If not, clean water is better than no water at all. So definitely keep it full of fresh, clean water. I'm going to include this rose next to its partner here. We're going to do a little technique of grouping. It's a little bit of what happened with the snapdragons. Both of them are on the same side. They are grouped together. Both of these roses are on the same side. They are grouped together. That's going to give us a little more impact. As you look through the arrangement, you'll see them together, these beautiful roses. And as they open and bloom, they'll just be a very lovely element on this arrangement. I liked how we partnered the Alstroemeria on both the right and the left side. So we're going to use one more rose here on the other side. It will balance the two that are grouped together and hold his own over here because it's going to be a lovely big flower. This arrangement has some of the aspects of some of our favorite paintings there at the Art Museum. Milwaukee Art Museum has some lovely Dutch masters paintings, and that refers to all of those Renaissance and Victorian era paintings that are just lush, beautiful arrangements of flowers. You'll see those paintings have a whole year worth of seasonal flowers. It took so long to produce the oil paints and to paint each flower that painting would probably have taken an entire year. So as they worked on painting the first flower of the season, then that was ready, and now the next flower was available for their inspiration. So you'll see something including early spring tulips, hyacinth, then maybe as the season went on, it would have iris, gladiolas in the summertime, dahlias and chrysanthemums in the fall, all in one painting. So we know that artist wasn't working from a full, beautiful arrangement. He was working from each individual flower and doing some flower arranging with his own creativity as he painted that beautiful still life of flowers. So we love to be inspired by what's here at the Milwaukee Art Museum. That's one of our favorite parts of Art in Bloom is the lottery and the chance for Belle Fiori's designers to get a painting and then be able to interpret that in flowers. So it's really lovely to have that every year, exciting, something we look forward to every January is when we pick those paintings, and then we have until springtime to have our inspiration come to life for Art in Bloom. We're going to finish this with just a few more accents of springtime as we're talking about that. I have some lovely tulips here. Everyone can appreciate these in the spring. Definitely would be something you would have seen in all of our arrangements had we had Art in Bloom this year. We're going to include them in a similar fashion. Remember, we're liking that grouping. That's giving us nice balance. So I had a little spot here among the heather that I was able to tuck in a few of them. I'm going to turn this around a little bit more for me to see. Now, I do like the green leaves. I think that's a very natural part of the tulips. They're healthy and strong, so that will definitely be an element of the arrangement that is beneficial. We don't have to remove them unless they're damaged. This one here is broken, so we're going to just take him off. A fun aspect of tulips is the fact that they are phototropic. That means that they will move or grow toward the light. So as I'm here next to our window, if this arrangement sat here for a few days, even just overnight, a few hours, by tomorrow morning, all the tulips would be leaning toward the sunshine. And isn't that what we all kind of need, is to lean toward the sunshine? All right, we've got one more pretty one here. His leaf is also damaged, so let's give them a little cluster of tulips here together. Our lily is spinning a little bit. There we go, put him right back where he belonged. And those tulips will just continue to grow and bloom. They will be a beautiful aspect of this arrangement. Now I like this pink vase, and I want to keep the pink throughout the arrangement. This little detail here, the lightest pink, to give us almost an ombre effect, is just a mini carnation. Dianthus, that's the variety of flower, the family that carnations come from. And sometimes I think carnations get a bad rep. They're a beautiful flower, lots of colors. Many of them have a lovely fragrance. The white ones smell like cloves, very pretty. And they last so long. That longevity is something we really should appreciate. I think people feel they're a little bit common. Sometimes they're assumed to be inexpensive, but for the value, they last a long time. So we give lots of beautiful choices to have extra color, extra elements of texture. They have a pretty velvety texture to them. So let's sprinkle a few through this arrangement. And as you noticed while I was arranging this, I kept spinning it around. We want to make sure all the sides are nice and even, the front and the back. I'm giving every flower a clean cut. That would be a little snip with your garden shears if you're using those, or a quick clean cut with a knife if you're using a professional floral knife. That's what gives that stem and all those cells the best opening to drink the water, to keep the flower alive. So a good clean cut and put it in the water right away. Don't cut them all and lay them on your kitchen counter. Then they're going to have an air pocket where we've given them the opportunity for air to go into that cell structure. We want to get them right into water. All right, I think we have come around to the end of a beautiful spring arrangement. We have lovely asymmetrical flowers, nice and tall. We've got our loop of willow and our cascade of little Veronia heather bells. Something that's pretty from all sides, beautiful fragrance. It's going to be a lovely aspect in your home. Bring some springtime inside. It's what we're missing. It's what we're looking forward to for next year's Art in Bloom. Watch your calendars. Mark April 2021. We're going to be back at Milwaukee Art Museum. I'm Emily from Belle Fiori Flower Shop. Thanks for designing with me.